I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's
Just one of those days, folks. Oh, yeah. Get hype, son.
just one of those days.
Sign me up Saturday.
First one to complain, please with the bloodstain.
Oh.
I'm a maniac. You better shoot, 'cause I'm fucking up your program.
Who's ready to get hype? Who's ready to get signed up?
In line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just
One of those days.
it's all about
Happy days.
it's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
Sign me up Saturday.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
If my day keeps going this way at this rate, I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games. Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
All right, we did it, folks. Well, you know, you guys don't even know how many technical difficulties we actually had because apparently I wasn't even streaming live. Come on, YouTube. They changed their whole setup. This is not my fault here, folks. Now you have to purposely click a button to automatically start your stream when you start your... What? I will not concede as that being my fault. Either way, we are here. We're hyped. We're getting signed up. If you didn't know, we're ready to roll. I'm your host, as always, the referee representing XFL Newsroom, the number one source in XFL news. And who's ready to get signed up? We got the claw. We're getting live. I think, honestly, I'm glad that we had that problem because of that hiccup, I'm much more hyped. I'm much more signed up. Here's what I want everybody to do with me. I want to do a simultaneous sign me up. You don't have to say it. I understand you might be in a library, but it's going to help us all get hyped together. So on the count of three, we're just going to do one of these. So 1, 2, 3, sign me up. I hope you're having fun. I hope you're having a good time. So here's the deal. Here's what we're talking about. As always, we're going to give you the latest on the return of sports. We're looking at Major League Baseball. We're looking at the NBA. We're looking at the NHL. And of course, we're going over everything. The latest details in the XFL bankruptcy sale. We got a hold of the transcripts from the filings the other day. So we're going to go over a little bit of that. We're also going to go over some, what coaches would return. We have some seemingly, confirmation that he would come back. We'll talk about that. But we're also going to cap it off by opening the rest of these bad boys. And if you didn't know, here's the deal. Here's the plan. Here's the big skinny, folks, is at the end of the whole ordeal, we're creating duplicate piles. So we have one big one and a small one. So these are duplicates of this pile, and this pile is duplicates of my base set. But at the end of it, we're doing a giveaway. So I expect this pile to get larger. These are going to even out. This will probably get a little bit larger as well. So how do you get in on the action? Well, it's pretty easy. All you got to do is like, comment, subscribe. If you're already subscribed, make sure you like and comment on this video or any other video, and that'll get you joined in. But also make sure you follow us on Facebook and Twitter at XFL Newsroom and get signed up. We're having a good time. But speaking of giveaways, I do want to talk about something real quick before we jump into the news. And now, you're right, J-Dash. he was right. You should have booed me. But anyway, let's jump into another giveaway. This one's super cool. So this is like super cool giveaway stuff, right? Because you cannot find this anywhere. This is stuff that is not for sale, right? So yesterday, r/XFL, the XFL subreddit on Reddit. So reddit.com/r/XFL. They had an AMA with the CEO of Big Game USA. Big Game USA is the manufacturer of the XFL football. So there's all sorts of details there. You should definitely check it out. We have a link in this article here. But at the end of the AMA, they announced a massive, huge giveaway with some. You have the opportunity to win one of 2 prototype footballs, as well as a XFL headband, wallet, and what's not pictured here is a coaster. The wallet and the coaster are super cool because they're made out of the same material as the XFL football. If you want one of these wallets, though, they do have them on eBay. Big Game USA has an eBay account. I know I picked one up. They were $20. I had to. But look at these. So these are at least 2 of the balls that they tested while they were creating the XFL football. So really all you got to do is either head over to reddit.com/r/XFL, or if you're in this article, click this link here, fill out the form. Only 1 entry per person. So if you try to scam the system, they're going to know, and none of your entries are going to be included. So keep that in mind. Something interesting here. So let's just go up real quick. So this is the CEO, and you'll see this. This is just kind of a mock-up they made, just kind of a throwback to the original ball. They were tossing the idea up early. And again, there's way more details in the AMA. But they're talking about they might put those for sale on biggameusa.com. I think they're going to put a poll on their Twitter. I'll tell you this, I know I want one. But hey, sign us up. Just wanted to let you guys know about that. That is some giveaway news. Let's get into the sports stuff. It's funny, I talked through, this is where we got to the NBA part of this program before I realized I wasn't streaming. So let's scroll back up. What's the deal with Major League Baseball? It's going back and forth, folks. The players want more money. The owners want to save money and do further pay cuts. It gets crazy. So will the season happen? It seems like, well, according to this article, it will happen, but the problem is how many games. So let's take a look here. Nope, there's no imminent agreement between the 2 sides, but worst case scenario is no season at all, which I think could be a possibility. So the league's ability to do that was reported earlier in the week, including as part of a March agreement between the 2 parties. So basically, trying to get less than 50 games into this season, or 50 if they have to keep pushing it. Players are standing firm, not accepting further pay cuts, which I think is a little bit silly, right? Everybody just wants sports on TV. I know, I get it from both sides, right? The players, everybody's going to want more money. The owners are going to want to save money because in a lot of instances, they won't even have players in stands, so they're not going to get, they're not going to get revenue from tickets, but beyond that, they're not going to have vendor revenue, merchandise revenue, and things like that, right? So here's what's crazy. So on that note, the governor of Texas recently said that fans would be allowed in sporting events. Now, I believe there's some limitations on it. I think there's about 25% capacity, maybe 50% capacity, but hey, that's a start, and it gives a little wiggle room there. So it looks like if everything does return, the Rangers and the Astros, which I'm excited about, will be able to have fans in stands. So I'm all about it. But what that does is it signals that governors in the 17 other states where major league teams play would have the final say on whether they could sell tickets. So that can mean more revenue, and then that kind of evens things out and hopefully makes things a little bit happier. But we'll see. If the players refuse further pay cuts, like they said they would, then perhaps a roughly 50-game season would be in the cards. So right now they were targeting like 82, so half the season, but no budging from either side on the 50-game plan. If the two sides can come to an agreement, and this is where I get excited, this I think could solve a lot of problems, a lot of angst from both sides. A July 4th opening day is the most American thing I can think of. I would love to see that. I would love to watch baseball and hot dog eating competitions. And not just baseball, opening day baseball. Sign me up there. But that's kind of where we're at. It sounds like we'll know next week how many games are going to be played. So, yeah, MLB, they're a tricky one. Somebody said it in the chat here. Where was it? Mailboy. Yeah, MLB can't get out of their own way. I completely agree. American Noise, he used to be a part of the, I don't know if he's still a part of the XFL newsroom team, but I'm still cool with him. He's a good kid. He suggested on Twitter the other day that somebody should do an alternative to the MLB like the XFL did with the NFL. I think that could be fun. I think it could be fun. I don't know if it'll happen, but we can always dream. Let's move over to the NBA. The NBA Board of Governors approves competitive format to restart the 2019-2020 season with 22 teams returning to play. So basically cutting out the people that have absolutely no shot of making the playoffs, like my Detroit Pistons. God rest their soul. One of these days we'll get back to greatness, but let's see what this article says. The NBA Board of Governors approved competitive format. We just went through that, blah, 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 blah. Tentative start date, July 31st. So if we get baseball July 4th, we have another milestone of the 31st. The board's approval is the first formal step among many required to resume the season. The NBA is working to finalize a comprehensive season restart plan with the Players Association. And so they'll be working with specialists and experts and government officials to establish rigorous programs to prevent, things from going around. So regular testing and whatnot. The season restart is also contingent on an agreement with the Walt Disney Company to use the Walt Disney World Resort near Orlando. So we talked about that, of using the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex for the rest of the season. I think Disney would love to have the money right now, so I don't see why a deal isn't struck. Based on the competitive format that the governors approved today, the 22 returning teams would be the 16, 8 per conference in the current playoff positions, and the 6 teams that are currently 6 games or fewer behind the 8th seed in their respective conferences. So those two groups comprise the teams with the NBA's 22 best records, right? So we kind of went over that. I need a sip, right? Sign me up. So the board's approval of the restart format is a necessary step towards resuming the NBA season, said Adam Silver. So the season restart will begin with 8 seeding games for each returning team and include the possibility of a play-in tournament for the 8th and final playoff seed, which I kind of like. I'm down with that. Honestly, if we're going to have a really weird sports season, and this is with MLB, NBA, NHL, I'm for all the gimmicks. Give me some ones if you're down for gimmicks in the chat. Throw a 1 if you're down for gimmicks. All right, let's take a look at this. So, blah, 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 blah. Season restart would include 8 teams for each returning team, include the possibility of play, but we went over that. Once the 16-team playoff field is set, the NBA playoffs would proceed in a traditional conference-based format with 4 rounds, best of 7 in each round. The NBA Finals would end no later than October 12th, which has to be the first time that the NBA has played that late at all, which is just crazy to think about. This fall, if we can get sports back, think of how crazy this fall is going to be. And I wonder what they do with the next season, because if you're ending October 12th, are you just rolling into the next season? Wow. I wonder, did they talk about that? Because you got to think that's about the time that NBA preseason starts. Huh. I'm sure we'll get more information on that, but, get your noggin jogging here. So if, as tentatively scheduled, the season resumes July 31st, the NBA draft lottery would be scheduled for August 25th. The draft will be held October 15th, so right after, like 3 days after the end of the latest possible end of the NBA Finals. Oh, okay, so it talks about this. So then the NBA regular season will start December 1st. Wow. So I guess, for the finals teams, those are going to be the two teams affected the most. Whereas, wow, you could actually gain momentum in the playoffs, not win the championships, but possibly ride off of that momentum. I don't know. It's a little bit away, November. So it's a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so anyway, let's go. Around Christmas time. The 14 NBA lottery teams would be the 8 teams that did not participate in the restart. And the 6 teams that participate in the restart but do not qualify for the playoffs. Interesting. These teams would be seeded in the lottery and assigned odds based on their records through games of March 11. The 16 playoff teams would draft in inverse order of their combined records. Okay, that makes sense. So let's look at the competitive format plan. Okay, so here are the teams. The 22 teams returning. We have the Bucks, Raptors, Celtics, Heat, Pacers, 76ers, Nets, Magic, Wizards. From the East, so those are from the East. From the West, we have the Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, Jazz, Thunder, Rockets, Mavericks, Grizzlies, Trailblazers, Pelicans, Kings, Spurs, Suns. Wow, the Suns, good for them. And so then the rest of the teams don't even get in. So each returning team would play 8 seeding games as selected from its regular season matchups. At the conclusion of the seeding games, the 7 teams in each conference with the best combined records across regular season games and seeding games would qualify for the playoffs. If the team with the 8th best combined record in its conference is more than 4 games ahead of the team with the 9th best combined record in the same conference, then the team with the 8th best record would earn that seed automatically. So if the team with the 8th best combined record in the conference, Team A, is 4 games or fewer ahead of the team with the 9th best record in the same conference, then Team A and B would compete in a play-in tournament, which again, I'm all about it. Sign me up for gimmicks. Let's do this. So to earn the 8th playoff seed, Team A would need to defeat Team B once, and Team B would need to defeat Team A 2 games in a row. Interesting. Again, sign me up on some good old gimmicks. So the season would conclude with a traditional playoff format with a best of 7 series in the first round, conference semifinals, conference finals, and the finals. So looks like July 31st, we're on track. It doesn't seem like the Players Association here is having any problems with any of that. So let's take a look at some other news. So on the NBA front, sounds like we might get 2 or 3 preseason games, 1,600 maximum capacity in Orlando, no plan for anti-drug blood testing, and this is what I love, right? Potential crowd noise via NBA 2K sounds, right? At least they're using their assets well here. Why not? So just wanted to look at that. So let's look at the NHL, our neighbors up north's favorite sport. So NHL announces transition to phase 2 of the return to play plan. So they're making some progress here. Starting June 8th, so 2 days from now, Monday, teams can open facilities for voluntary limited workouts. Meaning, even if you're under contract, if you don't feel comfortable, you can stay signed out. But if you want to get back on the ice, start slapping some rubber around, and hold up one of the greatest trophies in sports, well, you can get signed up and get your workout on in hopes and preparation for the rest of this season, or really wonky playoffs that they got going on. So they announced today Phase 2, beginning June 8th, subject to each club's satisfaction of all the requirements set out in the Phase 2 protocol. Clubs will be permitted to reopen their training facilities in their home city to allow players to participate in individualized training activities, off ice, on ice. You got it, they got it. Players will be participating on a voluntary basis and will be scheduled to small groups, maximum 6 players at any one time, plus a limited number of club staff. The various measures set out in Phase 2 protocol are intended to provide players with a safe and controlled environment in which to resume their conditioning. Phase 2 is not a substitute for training camp. It's just getting the players. They got to start working out. Like, I know they're working out at home, but getting into those routines soon, even before the training camps. So, it's not the best. It's not the greatest news, but we're just talking about the return of sports here. So, continuing the return of sports, we're not going to look at this article yet. No, this is not the one we want to look at. We're going to look at possibility. We talked about coaches coming back. So June Jones, he recently had an interview with ESPN Honolulu, and he talked all about the XFL's bankruptcy, the sale, how they treated him, and if he would return. And, June Jones, this is what I said a while ago, honestly. If there was any coach that would be like right away super down to return, it's my man June Jones. We got this here. This is from the press conference when they announced June Jones, the head coach of the Houston Roughnecks. He will be back, and again, he is the only undefeated coach in XFL history. He could have possibly led the Roughnecks to the first XFL championship, but we know how that goes. But it seems like 2021, it's almost a lock. Again, if you would ask me this 2 weeks, there's no way. I would have said, I think it's done. And even if it does come back, it's going to be 2022. But amazingly, there seems to be a big push for 2021, right? We'll get to that in the next story. So we talked about it. During the shortened XFL season, June Jones led the Houston Roughnecks to an undefeated 5-0 record. In a recent interview with ESPN Honolulu, Coach Jones talks about the XFL bankruptcy and sale. So he was asked about the rumor that Disney is interested in purchasing the league, and he said that would be a perfect fit, specifically mentioning the funding that they'd be able to provide. But he also spoke very highly of Vince McMahon, praising him for paying all the staff, refunding season ticket holders, and all that prior to the bankruptcy. Because again, in his mind, he didn't get his second year's pay, but he did get his full salary for the first season, only coached half a season, and Coach Jones is completely happy with that. What's happening, Jack Stevens? Welcome to the chat. And again, hey, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe now. Your name will show up on the screen, like right here, right over my face. So if you don't want to see my face, subscribe, because you'll block it out. By design or not, I don't know, but maybe it's a good idea to do it that way. So one of the big questions on a lot of people's minds is, if the XFL returns, which it seems like it might, especially for 2021, like, that's a lot of people you got to hire right away. And I can guarantee you, there's certain positions that people aren't going to return back to the XFL from. And the easy ones are the people that have been hired, right? The social media people. Those guys have been hired. They're gone. They're not going to come back. Pep Hamilton, he's working over at with the Chargers now. He's not coming back unless they let him go, maybe. I can see, John Hayes coming back. A couple of these other guys come back. I think a lot of the players will come back, at least the ones that haven't been signed. I think the player pool is absolutely large enough to always get there. The coaching pool is, but like, we're talking 6 months, right? But at least it sounds like if he was tapped to do it, June Jones would come back. And they even asked him, if you did come back, is there any other city you would want to coach for? And he said, maybe. But he really likes Houston. You got to understand, he was there with the Oilers and the Gamblers. right? June Jones is kind of like a honorary Houstonian just from all of the work that he's done here, right? So I would love to see June Jones back. My favorite coach for many, many different reasons. One of the reasons I love June Jones, though, is he will tell it like it is. There's no in between, right? You can definitely tell what he's thinking. He shoots from the hip, right off the cuff. One of the things, like when we went to the all of the Houston Roughnecks fan engagement events, right? He was one of the most interesting people to just pick their brain. He knows a little bit about everything. And actually, I have a really good story about June Jones, but we're going to save that one for another one. Maybe what we'll do is if this all returns, June Jones returns, I'll save that story for that, because it's going to be one of these things to where if you didn't respect the man, you're gonna have a whole different view of him. You're going to say, wow, this dude is a real big badass. So June Jones, looks like if the league returns and the league wants him, we only need to find 7 more head coaches, a lot of supporting coaches, executives, social media staffs, marketing people, communications people. There is going to be a long road ahead. But as we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, at the beginning of the program, the beginning of Sign Me Up Saturday, we recently obtained the transcripts to the latest court hearing with the XFL bankruptcy case. So let's look at some of the big details that came out of this. And I'm in the wrong article, so we're going to go to the right one here. So more details around the XFL bankruptcy sale. So what do we know so far just based on the transcripts, right? Things that we can talk about. Because there's things we can't talk about. There's things that, we've teased on social media, and I'm telling you, we just can't talk about it yet. Because it may not happen. Don't want to burn any bridges. But be aware that probably not even for me, there's probably going to be some news in the near future. When I say near future, in the next month and a half, that I think is inevitable to leak. And we'll probably report on it then, because I don't want to be the person responsible. So either way, let's look at the things we can talk about. So, and thanks again to Jake from the St. Louis Battlecast. He actually helped me go through the transcripts to identify some of the key items here. So make sure you subscribe to him as well over on Twitter. But let's take a look. So what do we learn so far? So 9 employees remain in the XFL. So if you didn't know, prior to filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, the XFL laid off most of its staff. So we're talking over 400 staff members. So now we went from over 400 all the way down to 9. So we have here, we already knew the league had downsized significantly shortly before filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but we never knew the full scope. Due to the transcripts, we're learning, okay, we went over it through all that. It doesn't mention who they are, what their roles are, but it's safe to say the league is working at minimum capacity, clearly, right? One of the employees is Jeffrey Pollock. I don't know if Vince McMahon would be considered an employee, but I would imagine, so other than Jeffrey Pollock, that leaves 8 left. A lot of them are either probably accountants and people working on the web store. And that will ramp up. So Paul Jackson, I think if a big company buys the XFL, hiring non-football employees will be easier since they can transfer current employees to the XFL. I completely agree, right? So that's one of the things I would love to see, a media company or media companies work together and buy the league. That I would love to see, especially 2 companies coming together, because then if there's no controlling interest, right, it spreads it out a little bit easier and you get more exposure, right? But just exactly to your point, yeah, you already have the experts there at your hands, right? So I hope so. I hope that's where we go. The next thing that we learn is there's absolutely an emphasis on a 2021 season. So this is directly from the transcripts. Attention was surrounding the brand momentum behind. Again, this is a transcript, so this is word for word. So sometimes this is how it goes. Attention was surrounding the brand momentum behind the brand, but it's also a double-edged sword as well. We need to capitalize and continue to capitalize on that momentum. And as a result, bidders that we've spoke to are saying going forward in 2021 is absolutely important. And that's big news. So if 2021, when is it kicking off? Well, amazingly, not even a delay here. Just the same as 2020, the kickoff would be set for the weekend after the Super Bowl. So again, from the transcript, timing is important with respect to the success of the XFL occurring immediately after the Super Bowl, prior to the start of MLB, Major League Baseball, and playoffs for the NBA, as well as the NHL. It found its sweet spot, Your Honor, starting right after the Super Bowl. Gives me chills. So, this is important here, right? It's also critical, as laid out, to maintain the momentum of the brand and avoid what is somewhat referred to as white space. Your Honor may have seen that there's been a successful relaunch of NASCAR, UFC, and PGA. So golf is about to start, bull riding, blah, blah, blah. The ever-changing landscape is creating more momentum, and the debtor wants to obviously jump in on that momentum. So they want to go. They want to hit the ground running, right? So let's move into the next one. What about the auction process? No stalking horse bidder. What does that mean, right? We're gonna go into that because this is probably a phrase. Honestly, I did not know what this meant, so I had to look it up. So I'm not gonna act all high and mighty yet. So no horse bidder. Nobody's going to know who the winning bidder is. So what is it? So staking horse bid is an initial bid on the assets of the bankruptcy company. So basically, the bankrupt company will choose an entity from the pool of bidders who will make the first bid on the firm's remaining assets. That bidder sets the low-end bidding bar so that other bidders cannot underbid the purchase price. The term stalking horse originates from a hunter trying to conceal himself behind either real or fake horse. So basically, the idea about having a stalking horse bidder is if you can identify a bidder that you know is very interested in the company, they might come in with a very good bid to where the bid starts at like a higher number. Whereas if there's none, everybody puts an initial bid in, almost like a silent auction, right? And then the court looks at that, and then they choose the largest one from that pool. Where if you have the stalking horse, you can prevent that. And I think, going back to the rumors that, Vince McMahon was maybe trying to buy back the league, a big part of it was probably so he could be that stalking horse bidder to ensure that the league sold for a certain amount of money, right? So as we're getting more details, a lot of this is starting to come together, right? So at the time, they don't have one, which is not really a great sign, but it seems like there's definitely enthusiasm and competence from what we heard from a number of the bidders that are interested in purchasing the league. The deadline to secure a stalking horse bidder was originally set for July 1st, so a little bit less than a month away, but will be moved to July 23rd. So it gives it a little bit more time, gives even the bidders some more time to go through the financials, go through the paperwork, look at all the data that the league is supplying to the people that are interested. Sale objections. So if anybody had a problem with either the bidders or the sale proposal, those would shift from July 6th to the 13th. So about month and a week away. So under these rules, the XFL auction would take place July 8th, from July 8th to August 3rd. So it's not just going to be a one-day auction. It's going to almost be it's almost going to be a negotiation-esque auction, right? Starting off silent. I guess even if we get a stalking horse bidder, could be the case. But we could, at the end of this, we could see multiple bidders team up together and jointly purchase the league, which I think can be a good thing. Think about it like Shark Tank, the TV show, right? You know, you have the sharks, and sometimes they listen to a pitch. Sometimes they all ignore it and leave it alone. And sometimes they get together and go in on the deal. I think that's a very good possibility in this situation. And then the post-auction objection deadline. So after the auction is done, if there's any objections from any side, that would be August 5th, 1 p.m. So basically, by August 5th, 1 p.m., we should, without a shadow of a doubt, know a couple things. One, if the league is returning, because we'll know, two, if somebody purchased the league, and if they did, we will know who the new owners are. Could it be Vince McMahon? Could it be Shane McMahon? Could it be Disney? Could it be Fox? Could it be all of them? Could it be somebody that you're not even thinking about that's in an industry that might need content to stream? Maybe. Maybe it could be. Could be anybody. And really the last one is going over the season ticket refunds. So there was a big discrepancy between the court and the debtors and this and that because Vince McMahon, the season ticket refunds that went out did not come from Ticketmaster. Vince McMahon himself loaned the XFL the money to pay that debt, essentially making him a creditor of the league, right? And so there was a big hubbub around that, but it seems like all parties have agreed to solve for that later because the most important thing here is to get the company back running, right? So only time will tell. We're getting closer. It seems like August 5th is the date that we might be seeing some definitive names on who's buying this thing. I'll tell you this. I think we're going to see some names, organizations, and groups come out one way or another, probably before this time. I don't think it's wise that they do, though. I think it's very wise that it's funny that I'm saying this because I'm going to report on everything public. That's what we do. If I get a leak, we do it on a per judgment basis because some things, could really damage it could damage the sale, right? So, keep that in mind. Hopefully, like I said, I have a good feeling at the end of this, something's going to work out. I will preface it. I am still angry about the way that Oliver Luck was treated, and I really hope that they pay him. But different story, different day. So I think that's about it for the news. So let's jump into some cards here. Like I said, just to preface, for anybody that's joined since the beginning here, we're unboxing some XFL trading cards. At the end of it, we have two duplicate piles. Basically, these are the duplicates of this, and these are the duplicates of the base set, and we're giving these away. All you got to do to be entered is make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you're already subscribed to the channel, just make sure you like and comment on this video or any video, and you'll be entered. And then make sure you also follow us at XFL Newsroom on Twitter and Facebook. And like I said, we're probably going to unbox the rest of these, unpackage, whatever, the rest of these today. And maybe give it a 2 weeks just so as many people can get involved as possible. So probably 2 weeks from this episode, we'll announce the winner. So let's take a look. It is the 6th today. So we'll say June 20th is when we're going to announce the winner. But let's open these up. So far, we got a couple autographs. We got a couple surprise cards. just to kind of update you, so we get 3 autographs per box in this big box, and we've only gotten 1 so far, so we should see 2 more autographs. I'm hoping for an autographed June Jones. I'm hoping for an autographed PJ Walker. We'll see. What percentage do you have for a 2020 return, 2020 return, or 20 or no return? Probably 30% each, honestly. I think so. It sounds like they have a really good plan in place for 2021 that's half cost saving procedure and half like having to do it in 6 months. So if they can truly do it all out of one location, like the ESPN World of Sports Complex in Orlando by Disney, I think they can do it. I think 2021, it really comes down to the owner and what capabilities they have. If they don't have like a Disney or a media company involved, man, that makes it a lot more difficult because I don't know how if the TV deals are going to transfer over. I'm assuming they are, and that's why there's such a big push for 2021. But if I put everything together, probably 50-50. I think the league will return. I think the league will return. But it's going to be a push for 2021. It's going to be tough. But we'll have to see. They might even do it with like limited coaching, limited executives, since it's all out of one location. So we'll see. But good question, Paul. Let's take a look at the cards here. I'm probably not going to remember all the duplicates, so I'll sort some of them later. But we have safety Seattle Dragons, Santos Ramirez. Hopefully these. Oh, you know what? Let's go. Boom. Big Cam. Big Cam. There we go. That makes it a little bit easier. We don't need to be looking in that. There we go. Santos Ramirez. I think that might be a duplicate. This is a duplicate. Nelson Spruce, Wildcats, going in the giveaway pile. Jordan Teamu, quarterback for the Battlehawks. I think this one might be a duplicate as well. So that's going into the giveaway pile. This one is as well. Ahmad Dixon, safety for the Wildcats. Yeah, they could push the season later, but it seems this is why I think the TV deals are still in play. I think that's why they're pushing still for the weekend after the Super Bowl, because probably with their contracts with ESPN, Fox, and ABC and all them is they had those dates kind of set out for them. So again, they could push it out, but it might cause more problems. We'll see though. It all depends. We already saw, like, if they come back, it's going to be under what it seems like is a 12-week tournament rather than a regular season. It's all going to be out of one location. They might not even use city names on the jerseys just to kind of prep for some of those teams that relocate next year. But hopefully by August 3rd, we'll know the owner. Probably shortly after that, we'll start getting some plans come through on like what the game plan is here. But we got Andre Williams, running back. Come on, focus, buddy. I think it's a duplicate anyway. Okay, second autograph of the pack. So that means we have at least one more autograph in this box. Stanley Mopanga from the Dragons. Let's get that to focus here. Defensive end. I'll take it. I like it. All right. So we have Ryan Davis, wide receiver for the Vipers. Come on now. Mohamed Cisse, I think this is a duplicate as well, cornerback for the Dragons. So this should be going in the in the duplicate pile, the giveaway pile. This one as well, Storm Norton for the Wildcats. So this is going to be a giveaway as well as this one. Quentin Flowers, fan favorite out of the Tampa Bay Vipers. Near the kind of end of that mid-season, it seemed like he was asking to be moved around. But we never got to see the conclusion of that storyline. Very similar to Matt McGloin. There's a lot of storylines that we missed out on. The Winston Mosses. Would he fire anyone else? I wanted him to, but let's see. Shantavius Jones, wide receiver, Vipers. Cameron Artis-Payne, running back, Renegades. Come on now. Well, it's a duplicate. It's in the other video. Ryan White, cornerback for the Battlehawks. Okay. LaDamian Washington, wide receiver, Battlehawks. Getting a lot of Battlehawks. Consecutive Battlehawks here. Back-to-back Battlehawks. Ooh, okay. We have another special card here. James Butler, running back for the Roughnecks. So what it seems like here, so I actually have Jerry Glanville like that. So it seems like they have probably special versions of all their cards. So in theory, there you could have two different base sets, like a special edition and a regular. Don't know how hard that will get. It seems like there's only 99 of each of those cards, though. Ronell Hall, defensive back for the Vipers. Eli Rogers, wide receiver for the Defenders. Scooby Wright. Everybody loves a good old Scooby Wright. People loved him in the AAF. People love him in the XFL. Larry Rose. Oops, I got to use this hand here. Larry Rose, running back. Wildcats. And Sam Mobley, wide receiver for the Roughnecks. So we got a bunch of these yet left. We might even need to break this out. Geez, how many packs are in here? 24 packs. Okay, so it's almost 2.5 of these guys, which again, if you're still looking for them, seems like local targets will have them in stock. You know, the location depends clearly. Tim Cook, running back. I like that one. I'm glad I got that one. I know I was missing that. This one's a duplicate. Jake Payne for the Battlehawks. So this is going into the giveaway pile. Cyril Richardson, guard for the Dragons. Believe this is going into the giveaway pile as well. Dantea Dye, this is in the giveaway pile, wide receiver for the Vipers. Jamar Summers, cornerback for the Guardians. Oh, okay, all right. So this is presumably our last autograph, but it says at least 3. You could get more. But we have a Nick Truesdell autograph, Vipers. Okay, all right. I'll take that. Let me put that over in the autograph pile. Oh, Cheeseburger Jones. This might be the start of a third giveaway pile because I know he's in both of them. So we have now 3 giveaway piles. Cheeseburger Jones starting it. Oh, Scooby Wright goes into the third giveaway pile. Okay, all right. Rashad Ross, I think this one might as well. Wow, we're getting all of them all at once. Just put that over here. Desmond Lawrence, cornerback for the Defenders. Okay. Actually, I don't think I am going to open the rest of these boxes today, or the rest of these packs, because there's a lot more than I thought. 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. Oh, jeez. Yeah, we'll probably open a couple more of these. I got to take off. It's hot. I forgot to turn the fan off in here before we started streaming. And if you don't know about Texas, it gets humid in the summer. It gets a little crazy. We have James Butler, running back for the Roughnecks. Got another giveaway. Kevin Gilbride, head coach GM of the Guardians. This is another coach I could see coming back. Jalen Dunlap, cornerback for the Wildcats. Sammy Coates, wide receiver for the Roughnecks. Darius Vicker, another giveaway pile, running back for the Guardians. Dietrich Nichols, cornerback for the Roughnecks. Howling at the moon. If it would focus. He's howling at the webcam. He's like, focus, man. Focus, man. EJ Bibbs, tight end for the Guardians. Kent Perkins, offensive tackle for the Battlehawks. Reese Horn, wide receiver, Vipers. Brandon Silvers, quarterback for the Dragons. If teams are relocated to cities nearby, do you think they will keep their names or just start over? Yeah, I think they'll probably keep the names, honestly, because they already have the logos to a certain extent. They might need to change some of it a little bit, but yeah, I think they keep the names unless somebody buys this and also buys like AAF assets or already bought them really cheap. Like, I'm sure the possibility of the team moving and having the San Diego fleet for a billionaire is a viable option if they wanted. I don't know if that's going to be the case, or think that's going to be the case, or heard anything that could be the case. But yeah, I think they keep the names. But yeah, I think, and even like the Guardians, I think the Guardians stay in, New York, New Jersey, New York, you know what I mean? I think they stay there and they just move to Red Bull Arena, so they don't have so much a problem. The Tampa Bay Vipers moving to Orlando. The Orlando Vipers or the Florida Vipers, like you mentioned, I think that works out. And the San Diego Wildcats. Isn't there already a San Diego Wildcat? I'm not going to go into all that, but yeah, it works, right? The Wildcat's very generic. The rest of the teams I think are safe. DC probably had the best size stadium. It was probably expensive because of the city location, but I think they stay. Just for the beer snake alone. We need the beer snake revival. Davion Smith for the Vipers here. This is definitely another giveaway pile one. Landry Jones, quarterback for the Renegades there. Marshawn Diggs, safety for the Wildcats. So I should have mentioned this. We're only 33 cards away from completing the base set. So a lot of these at this point are going to be duplicates. Marcus Lucas, wide receiver for the Battlehawks. Ooh, okay. All right. We have another special card, and I really like the way this one looks. Rennell Hall, defensive back for the Vipers. And actually, I think we just looked at this one, so maybe we can do a side-by-side comparison so I can better explain what I was talking about. So bear with me. Let's take a look. Yeah, okay, good. So this is what I was talking about, right? So we basically have two versions of the same card, and they're numbered the same. They're both numbered 149, but one is a special card, and one is just a regular card. And as you can see, there's only this is number 16 of only 25 made. So it's going to be like almost impossible to make a full set out of these special cards, but they're cool. I'm glad I got some. Right, so another thing to look forward to as you're looking through these or unpacking these yourselves. DeMorning Pearson L, wide receiver for the Battlehawks. Willie Beavers, offensive tackle for the Renegades, Dallas's team. Malcolm Bunch, famous from the Boozer Bunch, defensive tackle for the DC Defenders. Derek Hayward, tight end for the Defenders. C.C. Jefferson, defensive end for the Vipers. So let's do, maybe we just finish this stack. We'll do 3 more, cap this bad boy off. Like I said, we had a few technical hiccups. The funny part is you won't see all of them because I didn't stream. But so I think we started it off. We got back on track. At least we didn't do the full episode. At least I saw it. Thank you, chat, for warning me. Because if I would have did this whole show for an hour and just been like, man, nobody's talking to me. What is going on? And then realized that none of it went anywhere. Man, that would be a real bummer. I'll tell you what. So let's move on to the next one right here. Juwan Johnson, linebacker for the Guardians. Adonis Jennings for wide receiver for the Wildcats. Come on, buddy. Okay, good enough. You don't want to play with us? Yes, here we go. Not autographed, but I'll take it. Looking like the madman that he is. Looking at this, June Jones could be my father. Just look at us right next to each other. June Jones, trading card. Not signed, but hopefully one day, if he comes back to the team or if we run into across each other's paths again, we're getting this bad boy signed. June Jones, head coach, Houston Roughnecks. I think he was the only head coach I was missing. Might be missing Pep Hamilton as well. Maybe. Another giveaway here. Jordan Tayamu, got this one earlier. Quarterback, Battlehawks, obviously. James Butler, another giveaway. Running back, Roughnecks. Flynn Nagel, wide receiver, Renegades. Pretty sure that's a duplicate. This one is just because I remember the sweet post. DeAndre Tompkins, wide receiver for the Defenders. Sign him up. Sign him up. Tanner McEnvoy, wide receiver for the Vipers. And another one here. Quentin Flowers. We already went through that. I'm not going to go. We're getting a bunch of Quentin Flowers here. Gabe Wright, defensive tackle for the Roughnecks. Pretty sure that's a duplicate as well. So 2 more packs for today. Let's see if we get any cool extra special cards. Maybe a Stars of the XFL. We haven't got any of those yet today. We've gotten a couple of them so far. Maybe more of these limited edition cards. Maybe we get a surprise extra autograph. We'll see. But let's take a look and see what the future has in store. Okay, Lance Dunbar, running back for the Renegades. We have Jared Hurd, wide receiver for the Renegades. We have Martez Carter. Everyone remembers the Martez Carter game when he said if he gets 3 touchdowns, he's going to do a front flip. He did it, and he did it on camera after. So sign Martez Carter up. I think this is one we were missing. So we're chiseling down that 33. Christine Michael, running back for the Battlehawks. I think I might be. This one was missing as well. So this could be a very good pack for us here. Ben Heaney, linebacker for the Guardians. Looking mean. Looking like a mean machine. Kermit Whitfield, wide receiver for the Wildcats. Ooh, I think this one might be a duplicate. I might already have it, but if not, this is a good one in the duplicate pile. Marquette King, punter for the Battlehawks. Big name, big personality. John Santiago, wide receiver for the Dragons. And 2 more in here. Taylor Cornelius, quarterback, Vipers. Matt Jones, running back for the Battlehawks. Okay, let's see. Last pack. Let's put some good juju in it. Let's get some good cards here. Hopefully, like I said, extra autograph, Stars of the XFL maybe. Maybe one of these limited edition ones. See. We'll see. We will absolutely see. Let's take a look. We have BJ Daniels going into the giveaway pile. Bob Stoops, again, giveaway pile. Ray Davison, linebacker for the Renegades. Pretty sure this is going into the giveaway pile as well. Ooh, I like this one. I don't think I had this one. I don't know if this is like a special card, but this is a Guardians, Luis Perez. And it just says traded on there. Let's see what it says on the back here. Perez led Texas A&M Commerce to a Division II national title championship in 2017. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Does it talk about... Luis spent time with 5 other professional franchises before being assigned to the Wildcats in November of 19. So it doesn't even talk about the trade on the back, interesting enough. We'll keep that here. Tim Cook, so this is definitely going in the giveaway because we did that one earlier. We have DeMontre Hurst, cornerback for the Vipers. We have Brian Folkerts, offensive guard for the Battlehawks, looking like he's having a good time there. Justice Liggins, wide receiver for the Guardians. Jordan Elijah Smallwood, wide receiver for the Wildcats. And the last card of the day, DeAndre Goolsby. So that's capping it off. We'll update the giveaway pile. We have, let's see how many packs we have left. So these are the ones we're going to do next week. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next week, capping off, sign me up Saturday. We're going to unopen the rest of these 7 packs. We've already gotten our 3 autographs. So if we get any out of this, it's an extra. But we could get some of these special edition cards. we could get some of the stars of the XFL cards. And in all reality, we're trying to finish out our base set. Before we started today, we're down to 33. I know we found a couple in there. So hopefully out of these 7 packs, we will complete the base set. But I think that's it for this week. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for participating in the chat. More importantly, thank you for letting me know that I wasn't streaming there. I was just acting like a damn fool, a damn rookie. But like I said, until next time, same place, same time, every Saturday, 12 Central, 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. Get signed up. Come hang out with the ref because we're having a good time. So, if you didn't know, come join us on Facebook and Twitter at XFL Newsroom. And since we're on YouTube, make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Soon we're dropping new videos. Some are going to be pre-recorded. Some are going to be live, just like this one. So you know what? Until next time, sign you up. And thanks for joining, everybody. It's been a good time.